Bleeper, and on behalf of Ulysses Auckland, I'd like to welcome you here to the 2009 and the 20th Remembrance Service. Shortly I'll ask you to stand and receive the Remembrance Book, this year carried in by Sophie Alga, and it'll be handed over to Wayne for today's service. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please be upstanding?
I'd like to welcome you all to Taupo, especially those members who've come up from the South Island and non-member families who come once again to Taupo to pay respects to a loved one at our 20th annual Remembrance Service. This is the time when we gather together to get our differences and remember those friends who have passed on. Many people tell me the reason they come to the Remembrance Service is to make sure their name is not in the book. Well, due to a technical mistake last year, a member came along only to hear his name read out. Yeah. After the service he came and asked me if he looked well. And seeing he was standing there before me, I couldn't really argue about his health. But today is about those who unfortunately haven't lived to see us celebrate our 21st year. Those members and friends who have played a large part in weaving the fabric of our club. It was the 5th of August 1988 when Mel Curran died, and in 1989 our traditional weekend of remembering friends and past members started as the Mel Curran Memorial Ride. In 1990 it was changed to the Remembrance Run weekend, and this is the 20th anniversary Remembrance Service. I'd like to ask Merv Hopkinson, the original Auckland coordinator, who arranged our first service, to read out some of the names.
Carl and Grace Fisher, Albert Fripp, Morris Hill.
Recently a close friend and club member passed away very suddenly. We were all shocked that someone could go to work fit and well and not make it home that night. This really brought home to me the fact that none of us know how much time we are going to have with our partners and friends, or even what time we have for ourselves. Friends are like angels who brighten our days in all kinds of wonderful, magical ways. Their thoughtfulness comes as a gift from above, and we feel surrounded by their warm, caring love. Like upside-down rainbows, their smiles bring the sun. They fill ho-hum moments with laughter and fun. Friends are like angels without any wings, blessing our lives with that most precious thing. Memories to sustain us in those terrible times when they have gone to their maker and left us behind. We need to make sure our loved ones and friends know how much they mean to us. It is very easy to let a bad morning spoil our goodbyes, which could lead to regrets later in the day. My father always said, you should never go to sleep in a bad frame of mind, and you should never go to work on an argument. After all, you would hate those cross words to be the last memory of a conversation you had with your loved one. We are fortunate when something unexpected happens. There are many friends we have made in this great club to stand beside us. No matter where we go in New Zealand, there's always someone close at hand to drop everything to help when things go wrong. This is the true meaning of our club spirit and proves that we are special and unique as a club. We travel many roads together, and as the roads change direction, so do our friendships within the club. Some friends decide not to ride anymore or become involved in other pursuits, or just drift away. Some drop out of circulation. Unfortunately, some of our old friends pass on to the next world, and it's these friends we've come to remember today. Lyle Kennaway, Andrew Heath, Elizabeth Gibb, Bob Goff, Peter Lewandon, Desmond Robb, Wally Carr, Gary Eberhardt. I wonder how many of us made out a list, and more importantly, how many of us have managed to cross out some of our goals and the challenges we set ourselves. I know I didn't cross out many. It seems to me like I'm always going to get that famous round to it one day. We need to stop putting things off until tomorrow. After all, we know tomorrow never comes. I remember going to a small hotel in Reefton some years ago where they had a sign that said free beer tomorrow. I argued strongly that I'd come back the next day for my free beer. It took Dale a long time to convince me that I was wasting my time. People ask what makes a biker or riding enthusiast. I'm not totally sure what the answer is, but I know what it's not. It's not about those who park in front of a cafe or a bar and sit there in their designer gear watching people admire their bike. To me, the real bikers are out there on the highways and back roads, putting up the miles, enjoying the ride, and the company of good friends. A real biker will stop when he sees you broken down the side of the road. It doesn't matter what you ride, Harley, Goldwing, or a 50-year-old classic. A great example was a month ago. We were coming home from a rally. One of the bikes stopped. A sports bike where I came past, obviously enjoying the sun and the twisty road. He stopped to help and told us he was an auto electrician. He went back to his home 15 minutes away and came back with some test gear. Another person, club member, came back with a battery out of his own bike and a new alternator. Yet another club member was a mechanic and set about changing the stuffed alternator. Someone else had gone to town to find a new battery. These type of people are real bikers, the real riders, and the real friends. And we remember Mary Banks, the first woman to join the club and a life member. John McClintock, Pat Norman, Doug Simpson. It's not about how they died, but how they lived. Not what did they gain, but what did they give. These are the units to measure the worth of a person, regardless of birth. Not what was their church, nor what was their creed, but had they befriended those really in need? Were they ever ready with a word of good cheer to bring back a smile or banish a tear? Not what did the eulogy in the newspaper say, but how many were sad when they passed away. This Remembrance Book is an important part of our club history. It keeps us in touch with our beginnings and those we call friends. I want to thank Peggy O'Neill for the work she's done in the book in the last 12 months. And if you know of a club member or someone who was recently a club member who passed away, please let Debbie know, or Peggy. You can find their contacts in the Ulysses. On behalf of the Auckland and Taupo branches, thank you for coming. Enjoy yourselves tonight and ride home carefully tomorrow. Remember, it's not only cars that can be recalled by their maker. Live every day as if it was your last and do not regret growing older. It's a privilege that's been denied to many. Thank you very much.